Hi guys and welcome to Journey2Med. My name is Hazar.
And my name is Liddy.
And today's video is about how to ace your medical interview. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe.
This video does include a lot of information, so to help you navigate and perhaps find the advice you're looking for, we will be providing timestamps for this video. Briefly, the main topics that we'll be touching on during this video are purpose of medical interviews,
Which resources to use to prepare,
how you should prepare,
and how to balance A-level work and med interview preparation. So one of the main reasons that medical schools do interviews is that they want to make sure you are passionate about the degree as well as the career, and they also want to make sure that you know what the career entails.
In addition to this, most medical schools are also looking for well-rounded individuals that will be able to handle how intensive medicine is, but will also be able to find that work-life balance. Before we actually start discussing the medical interview preparation, it's really important to dispel the rumour that the earlier you get an interview invitation, the more likely you are to receive an offer. This is absolutely false. Many people might receive interview invitations before you or after you, but this is completely independent to how early you will hear back from the university for your offer.
I cannot stress this enough, but no news is good news, because I understand that, especially if there are lots of people in your year doing medicine, when there's others around you getting interview invitations and you haven't heard back yet, it's kind of worrying. However, if you haven't got a rejection, it means that you still have the possibility to get an invitation offer or even a medical offer.
It's easier said than done, but try not to worry too much when you get a notification from your phone and you jump up in fear thinking that's a rejection from your university. Be patient and hopefully you will receive your interview offers.
It's also important that you don't compare yourself to people online. For example, the student room became my best friend, and it wasn't good for me because you'll just see people post like, oh, just got an interview from blah blah blah, but don't compare yourself to anyone, just focus on yourself and be optimistic.
I personally stayed right away from websites like Student Room, where everyone will be saying I did this many GCSEs, I did that, I did this, all of that, because honestly you just don't need that. You need to, like as I said, focus on yourself. Things like Student Room, it allows you to compare yourself to others, and you just don't need that. So definitely stay away from websites like that. They just increase your anxiety. There are many resources out there to help you for your medical interview preparation. However, here are some that we strongly recommend.
The first resource we would recommend is MSAG. So MSAG has a free online interview course in which they have lots of different videos covering lots of different topics, and this really just helped me understand how medicine works in the UK and gave me information on lots of different things that I had to know.
So for MSAG, we personally used the online course that they offer, and we just made notes from that and used that to really direct our medical preparation. I definitely suggest having a book, whatever you want to call this, it's all over the place, where you just in a sense keep all of that together so you can refer back to it when you're doing practice questions. Guys, the next resource is a lifesaver. Definitely. Without it, I don't think that I would have gotten my medical offers. And this is, I'm so sorry for the quality, don't judge me, but this is the knowledge. And when I tell you, this book is everything. It tells you everything you have to know. Honestly, what is that? It educates you so much on everything you have to know. Even though it is a bit outdated, so a lot of the information in the book still applies. It taught me about medical history and important institutes that I did not know exist. It was one of the key components that really helped me with my confidence at interviews, because when you have that knowledge and you know what you're talking about, you're more likely to come across confident. So guys, as you can see, I really annotated it. That's the way forward. You have to purchase this book and annotate it so much, because that's how you're going to get that information in your head and really give yourself the knowledge.
What's really good about this book is that at the end they have lots of different practice questions. So me and Liddy literally went through all of these questions.
Medic Portal is another very useful website that we use for our medical interview preparation. They usually had very useful information about how the medical interview runs at specific medical schools, and that means that you were able to prepare your mentality on what to expect on the day.
This information may be how many MMI stations are present at a specific university, or even how they score your interview. So I'll just suggest that you really sign up for the newsletter. So number one is the fact that practice makes perfect. It's really important that you start practicing maybe from now and just practice regularly, because the more you practice, the more you can work on your speaking skills as well as your knowledge.
Yeah, this really helps your communication skills, and you can actually use regular practice to work on any bad habits you may have. This could be fidgeting with your hands or having a tendency to touch your face.
Yeah.
I would strongly suggest practicing with whoever you can. This can be a relative, this can be another friend applying to medicine, or even a teacher. Practice makes perfect, and you can never over practice.
It's really important that you prepare for a variety of question types, and this can be big questions like why medicine, but also don't forget the small questions like what are your hobbies and what do you like to do in your free time, because sometimes those can be the questions that actually put you off.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest getting into the habit of enjoying talking about yourself, so that when it comes to doing it in front of strangers at a medical setting, you're not too worried.
With a lot of practice comes a lot of feedback, so make sure that you're always writing your feedback down somewhere, whether that be a book or just a piece of paper, just because it's really good to look back on, and this ensures that your practice is active and you can always work on your mistakes and get better.
So me and Hazal, for example, used questions from the back of the knowledge book as well as questions that we'd find elsewhere online to make flashcards on typical questions. So it would usually be like this. It would have a question in the front and maybe 2 or 3 bullet points that would trigger my memory as to what I might want to say. This does not necessarily mean memorize your answer, because you do not want to sound robotic, but this just meant that I always had something to say and that I could apply my answers to a variety of questions.
It's really important that you don't memorize your answers, because it's going to sound too rehearsed and that might come across as boring to the people in front of you. So just use them as a trigger and not to memorize.
So if you really want to nail down on really bad habits, I would strongly suggest videoing your interview preparation session. So while someone's asking you questions, ensure that the camera's facing you, watch over it so that you can implement the appropriate changes.
It is challenging to prepare for your medical interviews alongside your A-levels. However, it is doable. We've done it, everyone else has done it, so you can do it too. Having said this, you will need a bit more organisation and time management skills just to ensure that you can fit everything together.
You could perhaps use a free period to do some research about the university and the course, and this is very useful to answer questions like why would you like to study here. To have a response for that is very impressive.
I think it's really useful to reserve a specific time during the day to medical interview preparation. So for example, we would spend the morning doing medical interview preparation, and then that meant we had the evening to do A-level work.
During autumn, a lot of institutes offer interview courses, so I'd strongly suggest looking for them, using your initiative to do research to find one that is suitable for you, because they're very useful. We went to a few during the weekends, and they really contributed to ensuring that we were well prepared for our interviews.
It might be difficult to decide how you want to use your time. For example, you may want to do some A-level work, but you may also want to do some interview prep. So for example, if you know you have a medical event at 1 PM on a Saturday, just wake up at 8 or 9 and get some work done before you attend the event.
Just to conclude this video, we'd strongly suggest not delaying your interview preparation, because once you actually start, it does get easier. It might not be easy at first and you will make a lot of mistakes, but that's okay. Like we said, practice makes perfect, and you will get to where you need to be before your interview comes around.
Thank you very much guys for watching this video. We really hope it helped you. As always, if you have any questions, leave them down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on social media.
So definitely stay tuned for next week's video, where we will be discussing everything that you need to know for your medical interview. Thanks for watching. Bye.